Thank you for joining me on the Recruitment podcast. And as we all prepare ourselves for what 2024 has in store, I just wanted to share with you some of my thoughts of what I'm going to be doing to ensure that I maximise every opportunity as it presents itself, how I ensure that I look after myself both physically and emotionally during what will no doubt be a challenging year ahead, as we know from previous experience, but to also ensure that I maximise the chances for prosperity financially and from a career point of view as well. So this is just going to be a short, sweet interview with myself, and I hope that you enjoy it. So for me, this all starts with the discipline every single day. And I've learned as I've got older that to ensure that you actually get things done, whether it's your tasks for the day in your job, whether it's your getting to the gym, going for a walk, getting the dog out, it's about having the discipline to do it every single day and creating a life where you do things through discipline. It outlives motivation. It outstrips any monthly competition or, dry January, Stoptober, doing something for a month to get your steps up, maybe a charity challenge. By actually having a mindset of discipline means you will do these things every single day because you want to actually do these things every single day. So for me personally, my alarm goes off at a set time every single day. And regardless of how I've slept, I get out of bed at that time to get myself to the gym, to start my day. For me, that's the only way I can start my day, with a gym session before the phone starts ringing. It's a very early start, and hello to all the other early bird starters out there. I personally find that it energizes me for the rest of the day, and it gives me that endorphin kick that I desperately need, the dopamine kick that I desperately need, and it does keep me going all day. But also the discipline to make the time during the day for the breaks, for the fresh air, for the getting out in the daylight, until we start to hit the spring and summer months where it's much easier to do these things. These things are so much harder when it's dark outside, and January always feels like the longest year in a month, doesn't it? So these are all tips that I've learned over the years. That's the first thing. I think the second thing is really understanding your why. And then this really leads you into creating goals for yourself, as well as ones that are consistent and coherent and collaborative with your business goals or those of the business that you work for, to ensure that you can adapt those goals throughout the year. I think it's really important for goals to be reviewed regularly. I don't really subscribe to news resolutions per se that don't have some kind of review period in them. I think it's really important. If 2020 COVID year taught us nothing, it's that sometimes things are a little bit out of our control. So I think it's really important to have goals in place and to stretch ourselves, but I think it's understanding what the why is. And I think having a period of time over the Christmas holidays, having a little pause, even if it is just for a few days, allows you to really understand what your why is and staying true to that. And it might be that listening to this podcast and reviewing what your why has been has led you to actually think you might start looking for a new role. Might think you might actually decide to set up on your own. You might decide to leave recruitment altogether, which would, I think whatever conclusions you reach for yourself, you will know in your gut. I think you have to learn to trust your gut as a person and as an adult, that you can't listen to the narrative and the rhetoric of people around you if your burning voice inside of you is telling you that you should be doing something else. I just genuinely think life is too short to do anything other than what your true why is. And I think the final thing is, the final sort of part of this trilogy of getting yourself on the right track, is to make sure you've surrounded yourself with the right tribe. And that's both internally and externally from work. I think it's really important to feel that you're supported, that you are listened to, and that when you're being listened to, those people are not judging you, but are there to, create a safe space where you feel you can belong and you can be your most vulnerable and be your most honest. If you are lucky enough to get that in a work environment, you are very lucky to be able to feel that, because very often we do put a mask on. It's very common for people to do that in work and also in your personal life as well. But obviously this is a business podcast, so I think it's important for me to ensure that when you're looking around the room, whether it's metaphorically or literally, of your team, of your leadership team, of your board, of your colleagues, of the pod that you sit in, potentially, depending on the size of business that you work in or work for, I think it's really important to honestly ask yourself, who's my safe person? Who do I go to if I feel like I need support today about X, Y, and Z? And doing something about it. And actually making sure that you're that safe person too. for individuals that might turn to you. Whatever your 2024 is going to look like, I hope it's one that's joyful. I hope it's one that's full of gratitude. And I hope it's one that makes you feel that when you're reviewing back, as we hit the end of 2024, has been one that you've accomplished what you really set out to do. And above all, being kind to yourself and looking after yourself. So I warmly wish you all the best. I just want to thank you for continuing to be a supporter of the Recruiters Recruitment podcast, because there are so many choices out there. So even just taking a few minutes to click on this short episode now always makes me really, really proud. If you haven't already done so, are you following? Give the bell a little ring so that you're aware of every new episode that we share every single week. And it just notifies you in your podcast page on your favourite podcast listening device. So thank you so much for your support, and watch this space, because we might very well be going live again in 2024. Let's hope we can do that again. Anyway, without further ado, have a great day.